Second tranche of Atmanirbhar Bharat package announcements focus on free food grain and affordable rental housing for migrants, concessional credit boost to agriculture and allied sector, and special credit facility for street vendors. One nation, one ration card to be achieved by 2021. PM Modi hails announcements as progressive measures. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with Bill Gates via video conferencing. Discussion focuses on importance of global coordination on scientific innovation and R&D in the wake of COVID-19 situation. PM Modi also holds telephone conversation with Denmark Prime Minister to discuss the pandemic. India calls upon G20 nations to ensure access to essential medicines, treatments and vaccines at affordable prices. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush calls for agreement to enable use of IPR flexibilities for this purpose. IRCTC starts collecting destination address of passengers travelling on special trains to help contact tracing if required. Railways to issue limited number of waitlisted tickets on special trains commencing journey from 22nd May. RAC tickets will not be issued. Over 800 Shramik special trains take home more than 10 lakh stranded migrant workers since 1st May. Special train services on 15 select routes continue. Second phase of Vande Bharat mission to bring back Indians stranded abroad to begin tomorrow. CBSE to allow failed students of classes 9 and 11 to reappear in school-based tests as one-time extraordinary measure considering COVID-19 situation. Opportunity extended for all students irrespective of status of their exams and number of subjects and attempts. And active cases of COVID-19 in India stand at more than 49,200, over 26,200 patients cured and discharged with over 2,500 fatalities. Globally, over 44,38,000 have been infected with over 3 lakh deaths. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukma and our top story. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced the second tranche of the economic stimulus package focusing on migrant workers, street vendors, small traders, the self-employed and small farmers. From subsidized funds to affordable housing, the package ensures that the most vulnerable section of society receives maximum benefits. Nearly 8 crore migrant workers will be provided with free food grains for migrant workers for the next months.
For those who are non-card holders, meaning they are neither under the National Food Security Act, nor are they holders of any state-level cards, for them, they shall be given 5 kgs per person of wheat or rice, or 1 kg of chana, so that is for per family. And if the person is remaining without card, he can also get it. About 8 crore migrants for whom benefit will reach through this free food grain supply. The central government will take the cost and they will not be charged.
The Finance Minister also announced that one nation, one ration card will be implemented, which will enable ration card holders to get ration from anywhere in India. And she said that 3 crore farmers have availed concessional loans with the benefit of 3-month moratorium, and around 2.5 crore farmers will be provided 2 lakh crore rupees of concessional credit through Kisan credit cards. Fishermen and animal husbandry farmers will also be included in this drive. ₹30,000 crore emergency and fund through NABARD, 3 crore small and marginal farmers to benefit, and 2.5 crore families will be covered. Fishermen and animal husbandry farmers to be included. The government announced several other measures to facilitate migrant workers. The government is on reforms to ensure worker welfare. The government is looking forward to convert government-funded housing in major cities to affordable rental housing complexes for urban poor migrants, increasing average wage rate from 187 rupees to 202 rupees, reskilling of retrenched workers, portability of welfare benefits for migrant workers, all occupation to be open to women for 24 hours a day with proper safety measures in place, universalization of minimum wages, a provision of social security and fund for unorganized workers, appointment letter for all workers, extension of ESIC coverage to employees working in all establishments, including those with less than 10 employees. The government also announced measures to improve liquidity. A working capital loan of 10,000 rupees each will be given to 50 lakh street vendors who were rendered jobless by the lockdown. A 6,000 crore rupees employment push using compensatory afforestation management and planning authority funds was also announced. These measures will address grievances of migrant workers as well as boost the economy. Prime Minister Modi hailed the announcements by the Finance Minister as progressive measures. He said in a tweet, announcements by FMN Sitharaman will especially benefit our farmers and migrant workers. The announcements include a series of progressive measures and will boost food security, credit to farmers as well as street vendors. Hashtag Atmanirbhar Bharat package. Prime Minister Modi interacted with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation co-chair Mr. Bill Gates via video conference yesterday. The dignitaries discussed the global response to COVID-19 and the importance of global coordination on scientific innovation to combat the pandemic. PM Modi highlighted India's conscious approach in its fight against the health crisis, which is based on ensuring public engagement through appropriate messaging. He explained how this people-centric bottom-up approach has helped win acceptability for physical distancing, respect for frontline workers, wearing of masks, maintaining proper hygiene and respecting lockdown provisions. PM Modi also highlighted how some of the previous developmental initiatives taken by the government, such as expanding financial inclusion, last mile delivery of health services, popularizing cleanliness and hygiene through the Swachh Bharat mission, drawing upon India's Ayurvedic wisdom to enhance people's immunity, etc., had helped increase effectiveness of India's response to the present pandemic. The Prime Minister appreciated the health-related work being done by the Gates Foundation not only in India but also in many other parts of the world, including for coordinating global response to COVID-19. PM sought suggestions from Mr. Gates on how India's capacities and capabilities could be better leveraged for the general benefit of the world. The Prime Minister had a telephonic conversation with his counterpart in Denmark as well. The leaders compared notes on the steps taken in the two countries to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Modi appreciated Denmark's success in lifting the lockdown restrictions without causing an increase in infections. The leaders agreed that Indian and Denmark's experts would remain in touch to learn from each other's experience. Both leaders reiterated their shared desire to further strengthen India-Denmark relations and discuss the ways in which both countries could work together in the post-COVID world, agreeing that sectors like health research, clean and green energy and climate change resilience offer tremendous scope for mutually beneficial collaboration. The leaders committed themselves to work towards the goal of creating a robust green strategic partnership between India and Denmark. India on Thursday called for an agreement among G20 nations to enable the use of flexibilities under a WTO pact on intellectual property rights to ensure access to essential medicines, treatments and vaccines at affordable prices. In his interventions during the second G20 virtual trade and investment ministers meeting, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal called upon the G20 nations to agree to provide diagnostic and protective equipment and healthcare professionals across borders where they are most needed. The Commerce Minister said that doing away with the policy instrument of export restrictions is not a panacea that will guarantee access to medical products and food for all. He said that more effective and lasting ways to ensure food security of the most vulnerable would be by agreeing to eliminate the historic asymmetries in the Agreement on Agriculture and delivering on the long-standing ministerial mandate to establish permanent, adequate and accessible disciplines on public stock holding for food security purposes by the 12th Ministerial Conference of the WTO. Widely regarded as the pharmacy of the world, the Commerce Minister said India is also proactively partnering in global efforts to develop vaccines for effective treatment of the virus. He said India will offer its full support to any global engagements to further this cause.
We had the G20 trade ministers virtual meeting, the second such meeting that has been held, in which India presented a strong case for global partnerships and cooperation to support each other during the COVID-19 crisis in a transparent and fair manner. India, on its part, has played the role of a responsible global citizen by providing medicines to over 120 countries across the world to help them fight the global pandemic COVID-19.
The CBSE has decided that all failed students of classes 9 and 11 will be provided an opportunity to appear in school-based or online or offline innovative tests again. This would be a one-time measure in an extraordinary situation. Opportunity will be extended to students irrespective of whether their exams are complete or exam results have been released or their exams have not been completed. The facility is to be extended irrespective of the number of subjects and attempts. The government has been running several trains to take migrant workers and laborers trapped in other states of the country to their home states for some time now. The Indian Railways have decided to issue waiting list tickets from the 22nd of May. Now, 50% fees will not be deducted on cancellation of tickets in special trains, and the obligation to cancel the ticket 24 hours before has been removed. The railways have also fixed the waiting list limit in these trains and have made a waiting list of 100 tickets for AC3, 50 for AC2, 100 for chair car and 20 for first class AC, also 20 for executive class and 200 tickets for sleeper class. For the journey starting from the 22nd of this month, changes will be made in the tickets booked from the 15th of May. Since the maximum period of reservation for special trains has been kept for 7 days, passengers will be able to book tickets for the waiting list from May 15th. There will be no RAC ticket in these trains. Meanwhile, RCTC has started taking destination address of all passengers booking tickets from 13th May. This will help authorities in contact tracing if required later. Special Shramik trains have been ferrying stranded passengers across the country. The railways have operated 800 Shramik special trains since the 1st of May, ferrying home 10 lakh migrant workers stranded in various parts of the country due to the coronavirus-triggered lockdown. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal in a tweet said, with the hard work of railway employees since 1st May 2020, the Indian Railways have carried 10 lakh Shramiks in 800 trains to their home states. He also praised railways employees for working with full devotion in the service of citizens during the crisis. Of these, Uttar Pradesh received the maximum number of trains, followed by Bihar. A special train carrying stranded passengers from Mumbai arrived in Delhi on Thursday. Passengers followed social distancing norms, and a special train from Delhi also reached the Sabarmati Junction in Ahmedabad. all passengers were sanitized on arrival at the station. More special trains also reached Jammu and Dibrugarh from New Delhi, carrying stranded passengers and those wanting to return home. Union Railway Minister Piyush Goyal has expressed anguish on states which are not giving permission for Shramik special trains to send labourers home. In a tweet, the Union Minister said that it pained him that despite the fact that Railways has provided 1,200 Shramik trains for migrant labourers, several states like West Bengal, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand are not giving permission to send labourers home. The Union Minister has once again appealed to West Bengal government to give permission for 105 trains every day instead of 105 trains in 30 days.
It pains me that several states are not giving permission for these Shramik special trains. States like West Bengal, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand are not giving enough permission so that we can run Shramik specials to their states. I once again appeal to West Bengal. Instead of giving 105 trains in 30 days, please give permission for 105 trains every day. And we will send all the migrant labor of West Bengal who wants to go back home.
And more than 44 lakh people have been infected by the novel coronavirus globally and 3 lakh people have died worldwide. The United States currently accounts for the highest number of coronavirus deaths in the world. US recorded new 1,754 deaths in the past 24 hours, taking the toll to 85,884. President Donald Trump has said that he intends to prepare the country for future pandemics by restocking the national stockpile. However, Trump has confirmed that his administration has asked for the withdrawal from American pension fund investments in China and also has ruled out renegotiating a trade deal with it. Meanwhile, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has said that 5 regions of New York State can be reopened and some businesses can resume functioning from the 15th of May. The first phase of reopening will be watched for at least 2 weeks before adding more jobs and businesses back onto the reopening list. The New York Stock Exchange trading floor will partially reopen on May 26 after over 2 months after it closed down to control the spread of coronavirus. In other updates, hundreds protested in Minnesota and Michigan against the stay-at-home orders and demanded the reopening of the states. Protesters expressed concern that the prolonged lockdowns could be used by the government to abuse its power. The 2 states extended stay-at-home orders until at least May 28th to prevent the spread of the virus. As President Donald Trump called on governors across the nation to work to reopen schools that were closed because of the coronavirus pandemic, Dr. Anthony Fauci urged off caution in testimony before a Senate committee, making clear that he believes reopening decisions will likely differ from one region to the next. Our correspondent from the US reports on the same. Let's listen to what he has to say.
It was, of course, always inevitable that at some point disagreement between President Trump and Dr. Anthony Fauci, one of his top public health officials, to Dr. Fauci, during testimony before the US Senate earlier this week, issued a clarion warning about the dangers and risks of reopening America's economy too rapidly. In the event, it was the caution that he advised with regard to the reopening of America's schools and universities. And in many of those states, the governors are saying the schools will remain closed at least until September and possibly beyond that period. The latest unemployment numbers: nearly 3 million Americans claimed unemployment benefits for the first time in the last week. Forecasters were expecting a lower number. They thought about 2.5 million. That means there are now more than 36 million Americans out of work, a deepening of America's economic crisis.
And Britain will begin using an antibody test for COVID-19 in the days to come, focusing its use on health workers and carers, as announced by England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer. following the lead of the European Union and United States, which have already given preliminary approval to the tests. Mass antibody testing with millions of kits is being considered by many countries as a way to speed the reopening of economies devastated by lockdowns and to introduce more tailored social distancing measures. However, the COVID-19 death toll in the UK rose by 428 to 33,693. And the UK government has unveiled a £1.7 billion fund to improve transport infrastructure and enable social distancing amid the coronavirus pandemic. A further £1.6 billion bailout has also been agreed on to keep bus and services going in London following warnings. The body was close to running out of money. It comes as lockdown measures eased for the first time this week, with thousands returning to work. Our UK correspondent Holly Hudson has more. And Europeans are hoping for a summer holiday as the EU announces its plans to rescue the bloc's embattled tourism industry. The EU announced a set of guidelines to allow transport to resume in 2020 and beyond, with borders currently restricted across Europe. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of the news. News and updates continue on DD News and DD India. Namaskar.